our Almighty God, Creator of heaven and earth, Father and lover of our soul, you sit on your throne of mercy and rule with your love and faithfulness. You are full of grace. We acknowledge your presence in our lives. Nothing is hidden in your eyes, even our challenges and struggles in life. We come to you with faith. We ask not only for our daily spiritual bread, but to seek your forgiveness and undeserving favor to heal our land, our family members, our friends and neighbors, even our enemies with COVID-19 and other diseases. Holy Spirit, help us to deepen our faith and see the opportunity to believe, obey, and worship. As we face this pandemic, you are Lord and God. Encourage us and change our hearts, not to fear, but to be full of hope and find ourselves praying and meditating your word. We believe no works of the enemy prosper to your children. Abba, Father, we believe that your Son Jesus Christ is Lord and Savior. He is the truth and our salvation. Hear our prayers, O Lord, and most of all, not our will, but thy will be done. We pray this in Jesus' name, the name above all names, who was and is to come. Amen.
Naghahatid saya sa mga Pinoy, mga kantang tatak Pinoy. Kahit nasan ka man, kami ay mapapakinggan. Streaming worldwide, the future of radio in Manila, California, and Hong Kong. This is V81 Radio.
Malayo ka man sa iyong pamilya, dito ay hindi ka nag-iisa. Tiyak ito'y iyong hahanap-hanapin, dahil ito ang nagpapasaya sa atin.
Ito ang radio ko. V81 Radio.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the program anchors and producers and do not necessarily reflect the policies and position of this station. Samahan na natin si Atty. Jai at DJ Gaur sa pagpapaunlad ng kalusugan sa katawan, isipan at espiritual. Ito ang Gopalakas! Gopalakas! Dito lang yan sa V81 Radio Worldwide.
Malusog na katawan, mapayapang isipan. Gopalakas, malinis na paligid, mabuting kalooban. Gopalakas, hangat na maglingkod sa kapwa't kaibigan. Gopalakas, alagaan natin si Inang Kalikasan. Kalikasan, Gopalakas.
So magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat and welcome back. Ayan, maraming salamat po sa mga nanonood and andito na naman po tayo, another Saturday na naman. Ayan, so kamusta po kayo mga kaibigan, mga manonood at nakikinig mula sa iba't ibang lupalop ng mundo. Ayan. So okay naman ba kayo? Nang nakaraan pinag-usapan po natin ang resiliency beyond COVID. So marami po tayong natututunan mula sa ating mga guest speakers, lalo na po kay Doc Ted, no? And kay Tito Toby, syempre ibinahagi niya rin sa atin ang back to basics, no? At the end of the day, we need to link ourselves. We need to link with ourselves. So kilalanin natin ang ating sarili. Kilalanin natin ang relasyon natin sa Mother Nature. Teka, magpalit nga muna tayo ng background music. Napaka ayan, relax muna tayo. Ayan. So ulit, magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat, no? Joke lang. So anyways, going back to our show, kailangan na natin na magsimula, no? Huwag na po tayo magpaligoy-ligoy. Pero bago yun, tatawagin po muna ang ating co-host. Ayan, nakalimutan ko na naman. Ang ating co-host na si Atty. Jai Tamayo. Atty. Jai Tamayo, welcome back. Asan siya?
Yan ka na naman, palagi mo naman ako nakakalimutan, Gaur. 2 episode lang ako nawala, nakalimutan mo na kagad ako.
Ayun, magandang umaga, Atty. Jai.
Hi, good morning. Kamusta, Gaur?
Ayun, kamusta? Ikaw ang kamusta? Kamusta naman ang exam mo nung nakaraan?
Okay naman, 2 weekends ako nawala dahil compliant ako sa isang kurso na
parang nawala yata ako.
Pero, yeah, I'm back now. Episode 10. Grabe yung gaganda na pinag-usapan niya last 2 episodes, no? And I missed the feature of Doc Ted Esguera. And,
medyo mahina ang aking internet, Atty. Jai, ha?
Yes.
So,
but Tech, can you hear me?
Ayan. Nawala ako.
Ayun. But can you hear me now? Okay na, Gaur?
Yes, I can hear you
clearly. Okay.
Ano?
Kaya nagbayad ng internet bill mo. Kaya choppy yung internet.
Sana
anyway,
naman okay lang. Anyways, ayan.
Episode 10, we're continuing the trend of the past 2 episodes, no? Ano pa papag-usapan natin today, Gaur?
Ang pag-uusapan natin naman ay forward-looking beyond COVID. Ayan.
Okay.
So, nakaraan nga, resiliency tayo. So, kung paano tayo makaka-survive sa COVID. So, paano natin i-connect yung sarili natin with nature. So, yun yung mga back to basics na in-offer nila Doc Ted, Ayan.
Right.
Ni Tito Toby, nila Ma'am Socorro. Actually, si Ma'am Socorro, binigyan tayo ng insights na sa gitna ng bagyo, merong sentro which is the supreme person. Doon tayo
Yo.
mag-take shelter. So nandun yung shelter natin.
Yo.
So napakagandang ano nito, napakagandang episode last episode tama ba? So this time naman ang pag-uusapan natin ay ang forward looking dahil kailangan natin umusad after ng COVID, no? So we have to move forward. So in this case, pag-uusapan natin 'yan, wag na natin patagalin, na. Ayan
Sure.
yung ating program poster. So i-welcome natin si Ma'am Chandra for our news. So magandang umaga po, Ma'am Chandra. Ayan. Kamusta po kayo, Ma'am Chandra? Isang magandang
Good
umagang
morning.
Sabado na
Hi,
naman.
Chandra. How are you?
Hi, Jai. Nice to see you. Nice to have you back.
Likewise.
Yes, okay naman. Okay naman ako this morning. And it's a very interesting morning again because of the topic that we are going to tackle. Ano? It's been so
Nawala yata si Ma'am
knowledgeable.
Chandra o ako'y nawala?
I'm
Ikaw
not
yung
sure.
nawawala, Gaur. Go ahead, Chandra.
Okay.
Okay. As I was saying, we've learned, or I personally have learned so much from the last two episodes on how to, what to do and how to deal with what we're experiencing right now. And we've had some wonderful guests, like Jai mentioned, no?
Right.
So for this morning, we're continuing that. And I'm going to give some news and updates. But before that, Tech, can we play the video for and updates? All right, thank you so much. And for this week, while there is so much talk all over the world about the new normal, from wearing masks, ngayon kahit na nasa labas ka ng bahay mo mismo, basta nasa labas ka, kailangan ng nakamask, ano? And of course, there is the social distancing. While we adjust to the pandemic, which is still upon us, experts in countries have said we should also take this opportunity to promote environmental friendly practices. Last week nga, sabi ni Doc Ted at saka ni Tito Toby, they emphasized the importance of having the solutions or finding the solutions in nature because it's there. We just have to recognize them. And so it's very important that one environmental practice, not yet that one, Tech, later pa yan, one environmental practice has been placed in the spotlight is the use of bicycles, no, as a viable and transport option. Alam natin na ngayon it's so visible. The increase in people using this mode of transport indicates how it's very critical and has failed the need for mobility. Siyempre, nung una, during the start of the lockdown, it was something that was there was no other option, but now people are recognizing the fact that it is a viable and practical mode of transport during this day and time. And actually, it is being recognized by the UN as a key component of the post-COVID-19 green recovery. The World Health Organization naman is recommending cycling both as a mode of transport and as a way of staying healthy throughout and even after this global crisis. So it not only contributes to healthy, livable cities by limiting pollution, but it also keeps us, people, physically active, which is very important. Kailangan gumalaw-galaw tayo, di ba? Naging masyadong sedentary na ang lifestyles natin, especially those in the urban cities. So the UN is actually encouraging governments to improve road safety and better integrate the needs of cyclists into the design of transport infrastructure. According to Tijani Muhammad Bande, President of the UN General Assembly, he said investing in city infrastructure to support cycling from protected lanes to bike share programs will contribute to a more safe, resilient, and sustainable future for us all. Okay, so that's one. And on the other hand naman, the Department of Environmental and Natural Resources through its Environmental Management Bureau, recently launched its Plant-Based Solutions for Climate Action campaign to help fight the worsening effects of climate change. Ayan, pwede na natin ilagay yung poster. Thank you. So, according to William Ado, the OIC director of the EMB, he said that as we encourage gardening in this time of community quarantine, we also want Filipinos to consume what they harvest or what they grow, diba? We hope to instill the practice of eating vegetables along with a right amount of grains and starches or go food, protein or grow food, and fruits and vegetables or what they call glow foods. So ayan, nakikita natin yan sa poster na nilabas ng EMB, DENR-EMB. And so growing one's own food is a step towards protecting our environment, keeping it clean and healthy. So shifting to a plant-based diet will further reduce or will greatly actually reduce the environmental impact of our food consumption. According to Conado nga, he said that by gradually modifying our meals, shifting to balanced diets with more plant-based food, dagdagan po daw natin ng gulay at ng prutas, we have already taken part in reducing greenhouse gases, which in turn will help slow down the rise of global temperatures. So we all have taken drastic action to protect people from getting infected with the coronavirus. And so we also have to take drastic action to prevent so many people from losing their health as we move forward together beyond this pandemic. And so to talk more about alternative methods on how we can further take care of our physical and mental health, we invited this morning an expert in the Eastern healing arts, who is a sociologist and experienced development worker. She has been at the fore helping our countrymen during the most crucial times. She is a DOH PTAC certified acupuncturist, an internationally trained acupuncture detoxification specialist, also an international TCM and NADA trainer and speaker since 1995. Currently, the board president of NADA Philippines and a pastoral counselor at the Center for Family Ministry FAM in Ateneo. I'd like to welcome to the show Ms. Janet Paredes. Good morning po, ma'am. How are you this morning?
Mabuti naman. Magandang umaga sa lahat, and thank you for inviting me here.
Yes, we're so glad to have you here. But joining us for this interview now is, of course, our very own. You know him very well. You've seen him in all of our episodes. He is a conservationist and the environmental consultant, especially for the government of La Union. You know him well, Tito Toby.
Okay, magandang umaga ho sa inyong
Magandang
lahat.
umaga, Tito Toby.
Okay, Chandra, hi Ma'am Janet. Good morning. Nice to see you again.
Okay, so Ma'am Janet, as mentioned kanina, we'd like to know or we'd like to seek your advice about what else can we do aside from ensuring what Doc Tedla said last new path, getting proper nutrition, exercise, water, supplements, sunshine, air, and sleep. As a TCM expert, what do you suggest we can do?
Actually, I got your notes and your questions regarding this particular interview, and there are many alternative methods that we can do, especially for cases of anxiety, for depression, for stress and trauma during this time of pandemic. And the National Acupuncture Detoxification Association, it's a nationwide organization and internationally affiliated abroad, in different countries. We have later we're going to show some of the slides wherein we are trying to propagate the use of beads, the use of seeds placed on the ear. We can do that later on.
Oh, okay. So one of those that uh, alternative ways you mentioned is the use of seeds. Na, 'di ba, marami nang nagtatanim ngayon. I'm sure baka tinatanim na nila 'yon. Pwede na nilang gamitin, ano.
Yeah, for
Would
as
you like to
long as
talk more about it po?
for as long as they use the rounded seeds na hindi masyadong malaki, like mustasa, a smaller size of seed ng munggo, no, that can be well placed on the ear because it's going to be placed at the back of the ear. And at the same time, actually internationally, ang ginagamit talaga dito is the magnetic bead, no? They're magnets placed on a plaster, but since it's not readily available, especially during this time, we can always improvise. No, whatever rounded small seeds that can be used for putting it at the back of the ear, because this has been proven and researches has been done on how it affects the neurotransmitters of the brain to help relax the individual, no, relax the patient, relax a very colicky baby, no, and there has been researches that it has been done for health workers, no, for burnout and for anxiety. Now locally, our NADA chapter in Dumaguete has done it for the elderly in Metro Dumaguete for depression. No? So marami siyang pwedeng gamitan. And because it's a very simple modality, sometimes they question, Janet, buto lang yan eh, lalagay sa tenga. What does it do? But until you're able to do it, no, sa families, sa patients, no, sa clients, and different people now undergoing this problem of really anxiety because of this very uncertain times, it is very effective.
I like the fact po na it ties into what Tito Toby said in last week, no? It's a natural thing. It's from nature, and part of it's a solution nga to ano no, ang galing. Ang galing. No, Tito Toby, what can you say about that?
Plus, it's the recognition, the fact that, you know, the human body is actually so, it can heal itself given the right settings. That's why in times like this, during this pandemic, the solution is actually so close to us. All we need to do is to apply ourselves properly and let, you know, the healing process always takes place. You know, in our lives, we could see that if given the right setting, your body will try to always find the right balance. And since there's a body and mind and spirit setting there, that's all the time that's there. But unfortunately, sometimes because when we are lacking in certain understanding or the need to be able to apply ourselves with certain things that we have not heard before, it will make a big difference hearing what Janet will have to share this morning and what she will show us. I mean, mere seeds, you know, you can do something about it. There's so much that can be done by us for our family and for our individual selves. So again,
Yes,
emphasizing
Tito Toby, you mentioned. Sorry.
that the body can heal itself. You know, the potential is always there, given the right setting, good nutrition, proper sleep, exercise, and finer things by like what's going to be presented this morning.
Okay. Sorry for the interruption kanina. Nag-lag yung internet ko and I thought there was a nawala po eh. But yeah, you mentioned the right balance. I think this, Ma'am Janet, this is something that you really emphasize, diba, in TCM po, finding balance or harmony with everything. And so, how does this work? How does putting the seeds or ano in a certain area, what is it based on? How does it work?
Okay. We have studied the importance of tonifying or strengthening. There are particular points on the ear which is actually connected in the entire body, no? all those points on the ear, there are about more than 100 points on the ear that has been studied years ago. And all these points, when you try to stimulate by using the seeds, or you can also use the ear needles, it gives balance to whatever problem the patient or the client is experiencing. No? And that helps in maintaining and in balancing what particular emotions the particular patient or the client is experiencing. No, we do this for clients in counseling. We do this for private practice. We do this in community setup, wherein, especially in areas that we went all over the Philippines for the past years, during Typhoon Sendong, during Typhoon Pablo, during Typhoon Yolanda, wherein there is a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression happening because of all these disasters. Ear magnets and ear seeds and ear acupuncture has been helping a lot of our community people go back to that balance and harmonize again, no? And especially these people in the provinces, they're very near to nature. And so it really gives them that opportunity to be more balanced, because it's different when you are in the city, no? And that's why
Yes. So,
I had to present those beads, because even inside the house, no, matuto lang yung isa, madali siyang i-share sa family members during this time. And our organization, the NADA Philippines organization, now have difficulty giving ear treatments using the needle because COVID, no? Hirap kaming to do missions nationwide. So we are propagating the use of these seeds for that.
okay. So we're gonna talk more about. Are you gonna be showing po later how we're gonna be able to use that po? Yeah. Okay. So especially another thing that we wanted to tackle. So with Eastern Healing Arts, yes, balance is very important, and you talked about that already. And so balance means not just physical but mental din po, di ba? It means that especially now during this crisis, with not knowing when it's going to end or what's going to happen next, what can you advise people to be able to stay or keep their mental health balanced?
Nawawala.
Sometimes while Mom Janet didn't hear, can you please repeat the question? Can you? But anyway,
Am I
uh, can you please repeat the question? She didn't hear.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear now po?
Okay.
Okay. Now, I was saying po na balance, of course, includes not just physical but mental health aspects, di ba po? And especially now during COVID, and not knowing actually when it's going to end or what's going to happen next. A lot of people are really stressed about this. And so, what can you advise us to keep our mental health also balanced?
Okay, there are many things to consider in maintaining mental health balance. No, there are many things, like I think it was mentioned already before about we're considering the kind of food that we eat, no, for a balanced diet, the regular exercise that we do, no, and family ties are very important. During this time of pandemic, when everybody is at home, it is very important that one should consider having a routine, no, in a family of 5 or 6, no, proper communication within family members is very important so that everybody is communicating very well and helping out, especially here in the cities, helping out in all the chores in the house, in the household. It's also different when you have a little, when you have a toddler, a little boy or a little girl inside the house, wherein there is no kasambahay in the house, and the parent should also look at uh, particular time limitation in spending with the children so that all other chores are maintained in the house. And in this way, mental health, no, is very well practiced. And of course, there is also the importance of collective family prayer. No, many families are doing that now, and it's very helpful that uh, during meal times, the families are communicating and sharing how they feel. It is very important that the parents are asking every family member how they feel, because in this way there is a check and balance on how each one are feeling. And if that is done on a regular basis every day, then you will be aware of what family how a family member is feeling. Of course, you're going to be a little worried if there is one family member who is acting differently, one family member who has been brooding in the bedroom, no, for how many days or how many hours. That can be a sign of something different. And each one in the family household should be aware of this, because since we are in a very uncertain time now, no, it's always very important that every family member, or especially the parents, are aware of what is going on in each family member. So, importante yun. No? That is part of mental health.
Okay. What about po, ma'am? A lot of our, especially those in the cities, some of them don't have their families. Their families could be back in the provinces and they're alone here, or maybe they're just with roommates, or what about for those people po?
There are many cases right now that especially students who were not able to go back to their families, who were not able to travel and are staying in dormitories right now. I think there are support system in the school, no, in universities where they are, because it's very important to check on the students. No, may roster naman yun of the students. Eh. So, ang mga universities, they have guidance counselors who can check on the students regularly and to find out how they are doing. And it's very important that yan, yung mga chat group for students, no, it's also very important now because yung mga chat groups na yan talagang it's a way of checking also how is Juan, how is Maria, so that they are aware. Because if there are any problems, the guidance counselors who are really informed and kinakausap nila tong mga to in the university setup, whether in Manila or in Quezon City, no, or in the provinces. Because there are cases wherein hindi sila makauwi or pwedeng ayaw umuwi. No, may ganyang cases. They would rather stay here in the city rather than go back home. Yan, may mga ilang underlying problems that may be meron yan, no? May mga ganyang situations. So we are faced with different situation right now. And talagang kakaiba siya from the time na hindi pa tayo nagla-lockdown. And so we really have to be very creative, and we have to know how to handle such situations. No? And I just want to share that our center, the Center for Family Ministry, is open to telecounseling, and they can always avail of telecounseling. They just make an appointment and will post the poster later on so that they can be helped in these situations. Ang CEPAMPO,
Yes.
ang CEPAMPO is donation basis.
And since in this given situation that we are in, we could see that the government, like the DOH, is exerting an effort to making sure that the virus don't get spread. And we all know that we could see the numbers today. Now, so knowing full well that this is the main concern, and recently only that the mental health law was passed.
Yes.
It's only in recent years. So basically, a structure by the government system has not been in place
Yes.
because it's a matter of the implementation of this takes so long. It's not as simple as it's like setting up a whole new medical setup. But this is addressing the health system. Perhaps a suggestion on this, so our viewers and listeners can know. We have companies. They have different companies and corporations are opening up. There's work happening again, and just to get the economy going. But at the same time, they have their HR departments, or in communities or in the barangays. These are something that can be considered as something that to make them aware that we have to address this given setup or this phenomenon that's going on when our own citizenry or our family members getting depressed or having mental issues, and difficulties. So perhaps companies can be looking into this. Marami yan kasi empleyado mo yan eh. Siyempre, ang empleyado mo, patatrabaho yan, he will work. And if he has issues at home that he's trying to cope and deal with, his mind is not just going to be in his work. He won't give as best work as he can, but given the circumstances, normally, if you have a support group, even coming from companies and corporations, addressing these issues to help out and minimize, the impact of the difficulties that people are going through, being confined. Yan, may pwedeng gawin yan eh. There are other avenues that can be done. And then definitely hotlines. And there's so many, like right now, how many hotlines do we have? How many of us know of a particular hotline to call when we're faced with this issue? Pwede natin tawagan yung 911 pag may kailangan tayo sa medical ng ating katawan. Pero pagdating sa difficulties on mental health, a 911 thing is not going to be addressing this issue for you. So this mechanism is important. Kasi ang mga korporasyon or companies, parang pamilya rin yan eh. Inaalagaan nila ang mga tao nila eh. This has to be looked into.
Can I share about, Chandra, Toby, one thing that really gave me that initiative during this pandemic is also getting in touch with your barangay, because being aware and being close to the barangay, what we did was we update, we share, and if we observe things in our barangay that needs to be taken into consideration, we call the barangay, I call the kapitana, and there are cases also that there are roaming around people in the streets na whom I think are not mentally stable. I always inform the barangay, there is this lady moving around and baka mapahamak pa siya, so I think you have to do something about this.
Yes.
So awareness and really being close to your barangay is very important at this time.
Yeah, there are barangay health workers, but many of them, they're not as equipped, yeah? This is something that is so much addressed or seen in provinces, especially, even in Metro Manila, because the population there is so big. The ratio of health worker as to many of the
Nawala si Tito Toby.
Wala.
Okay, so actually, ma'am, you mentioned many resources, the other people that we can ask or seek advice from, or the support of the alternative support systems, no, Ma'am Janet. But what are the signs and symptoms ba para we know that we have to? When do we take them to these support systems or these professional consultants, or when do we take them? When do we know that we should take them
There
there?
are major and minor signs and symptoms that you will observe in an individual, not that you will have to observe in an individual. If one is tulog ng tulog, no? There are people, ano yan eh, dalawa yan eh, pwedeng tulog ng tulog or kulang ng tulog, no? If there are people that since the lockdown, before the lockdown, they were sleeping very well. They were sleeping from 10 o'clock in the evening and they wake up at 5 because they have classes. But now, since the lockdown happened, since April, naging very abnormal yung sleeping habits niya. Like natutulog ng 4 a.m. in the morning at nagigising ng 10 o'clock in the morning. And that has been going on for some time until the present, which is already disturbing. There can be signs and symptoms such as nagiging violent inside the house. There is anger management. There is a lot of anger na hindi naman dati ganoon, no? Eating habits have become very abnormal, and there are behaviors wherein they started drinking, smoking, or even can resort to drugs, no? So these are behaviors that we have to look into in an individual, whether a student or sarili nating mga anak inside the house. Na because of this pandemic, no, the stress level is very high, and dun sila nahihirapan mag-cope up with the particular stress level. And so we have to be very aware of that.
Right. So, Ma'am Janet, it's important to
Okay,
note
thank you
na
so much.
sorry, Chandra, but it's important to note that for more acute circumstances, like as Ma'am Janet mentioned, no, some people might be suffering from heavier mental difficulties, depression, etc. Make sure you contact the authorities, and there are hotlines, and there are family groups, social circles that you can rely on. But also, I'd like to remind our viewers that we also have our own hotline. So if you have any questions for Ma'am Janet, you can reach us either on our Facebook page or on V81 Radio, whichever platform you're listening on, and you can ask your questions to Ma'am Janet directly. These are so you can add to your knowledge on how to cope with COVID, not just with the physical side, but also the mental, emotional, and possibly spiritual. You know, we talk about everything on the show. We have about 5 minutes left, so if any of our viewers have any questions for Ma'am Janet, better ask it now. Ma'am Janet, if there's anything that you would like to leave with our viewers and
So-
listeners?
We're waiting, Jai.
No, go ahead, Ate Chandra.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, kasi nga, you mentioned, what are the resources po available, Ma'am Janet, for the Filipinos currently
I
that they can tap?
avail of. No? I think at this point, I would like to share some of the slides that I have prepared, no, for ear acupressure. No, ear acupressure has been used internationally by NADA International, by all NADA groups, no, and also NADA Philippines for stress relief. Okay, next slide, please. What are the benefits, no? Ear acupuncture helps people of all ages. No, this is a very simple technique, and it has been used for trauma recovery and healing. It has been used for quieting down stress and anxiety, helping with headaches and general wellness. Now, this produces a balancing effect because it connects to different neurotransmitters in the brain to help the person sleep, no? And it helps for depression and also have a peaceful sensation of relaxation, and some don't feel anything. So it's a mixture of feeling. Okay, next slide, please. How to apply the beads, no? Beads or seeds, I will show you later on. But that point, that green point, is the Shenmen point one of the ear points that is being used by NADA internationally. The point that you're going to put the bead is the reverse of this point. This is at the back. Okay, next slide, please. How to apply beads? It is very simple. Anyone can do this for as long as you're able to locate the Shenmen point in front. You're going to put the bead at the back. Okay, next slide, please. You just need plaster. You can even use Band-Aid. You need any rounded seeds available. It can be mustasa seed. It can be a small size mongo seed, that you can put. And if you can buy or available magnetic beads or magnetic beads can also be used. Yun talaga yung maganda. But if it is not readily available in your area, then you can use any rounded seed to stimulate the point at the back of the ear. Okay, next slide, please. Simple ear acupressure. Besides using the beads, and if acupuncture detox specialists nationwide are also puncturing the points on the ear for their families, you can simply massage your ears. No? Simple lang yan. And by doing ear massage, you are stimulating important points on the ear that is connected in the entire body. Okay, next slide, please. So how to ear massage? There is no wrong way to do it. Just do from the top to the bottom. You can do it 5 times. You can do it 10 times. As many times that you like to use it. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, this is point on the ear Shenmen. Nakikita po nyo yun? It's in the inner ear. No? There is like a triangle there. That point with the black ink is Shenmen point. The point that you're going to put the ear seed is, next slide please, yan po sa likod. So kahit sino po pwede ilagay ang seed or magnetic bead sa likod ng tenga. That is the reverse Shenmen point. Okay, next slide please. So these are the things that you need. You just need the plaster or Band-Aid and choose the small size of mongo or mustasa seed can be used also, or any rounded seed. Kasi kailangan po siyang rounded because syempre matutusok yung tenga kung matulis. Like we tried pechay seeds pero medyo matulis po siya. So better to choose a rounded na buto. Okay? Next slide please. Yan po, nalagay na yung plaster with the seed at the back of the ear. And you can leave this even for 10 days, even for 2 weeks. Kahit na po naligo na yung pasyente or the client, magstay pa rin po siya dyan. Now, if it feels like falling off, tanggalin lang po ninyo yung plaster. And after siguro resting the ear, the skin of the ear, then you can put again another seed, especially for a very anxious student, client, patient, family member. No? Even if the family member is hypertensive or any other condition, you can use this one. Okay? There is a video that I sent. We can show that video now. Ito po yung ginagawa sa ibang countries. Very simple na nilalagay po nila yung ear seeds, ear magnets. Okay? Pwede po natin palabak. yun po, very simple modality.
Very, very easy to do at home, no?
Yeah.
You can just clip your own little piece of tape, put the bean, put it there, and then reap all of the benefits that Ma'am Janet mentioned earlier. We're running a little bit over time, but really quickly, Ma'am Janet, we have a question for you. Do ear piercings on those pressure points better the healing effect?
Ear
Piercing.
piercing,
Ear piercing, like nagpabuta sila doon at that point.
wala na yung point.
Tumagos na.
Even
All
in
right.
acupuncture, those with a lot of different earrings, ang problema doon, nasira mo na yung acupuncture point because
Right.
So,
Okay.
mahirap.
So just put the bean, don't pierce it. Put the bean.
One more
put the tape.
question.
Yeah. Go ahead, Sandra.
Huwag kang magpabutas ng tenga. Usually, it's not good.
Yeah, don't touch your ears. I was going to just ask Ma'am Janet, is there like a limit as to how long you can leave it there? I mean, we need to change it, but you can just
Yes.
wear it all throughout for as long as
You can use it for as long as hindi siya nahuhulog. You don't even have to press. Just leave it there. Once you leave it there, just press it and that's fine. It can last for 2 weeks, 5 days, no? It's very important that before you put the ear seeds na naka-plaster, you clean the back of the ear, no? Because sometimes we have oily ears, so that the plaster will stick to the point para hindi matatanggal kagad. So you'll see
All
the
right.
difference. Try it, you will see the difference.
Yun na. Try it. To our viewers, don't just listen to us every week. Try the stuff we're recommending. It will make your overall well-being much, much better. Ma'am Janet, that's all the time we have. If any of our viewers or listeners have any more questions for Ma'am Janet, be sure to message us on any of our platforms. We'll make sure that she gets the message and we'll address your question next episode. Ma'am Janet, thank you so much for coming on the show. Sir Tito Toby, closing comments.
Make sure the contact address of Ma'am Janet is also posted. And again, I want to thank you, Ma'am Janet, for giving your time, so valuable nowadays. Alternatives, to see how simple it is that it can help everyone, basically. This understanding how these principles work, using seeds or magnet, and then it helps find the balance, Okay, maraming salamat sa inyong lahat. Ma'am Janet, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ma'am Janet. Tito Toby, we'll see you later in a bit for your segment. For our
Yes.
viewers, the number was flashed, but we'll post that also on our Facebook page. So you can reach Ma'am Janet there. We'll be taking a short break. Don't tune out. We'll be having our Living Wise segment up next shortly. See you in a bit. Tech break tayo.
And Paredes.
Kalusugan, pangkalikasan, Gopalakas. Haribo ni Gaur, Haribo. Haribo ni Gaur, Haribo.
Okay, welcome back to our show. At this point, I'd like to
Magandang
greet...
araw po and welcome back. Attorney Chai, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Gaur. Nagsabay pa tayo ng re-entry. Ako muna, Gaur. I'd like to just greet all of our listeners who have been tuned in for 1 hour right now. I'm sorry that your shoutouts have been so late. But to Mr. Harry Capulong, he says good morning. He's watching from La Union. Good morning. Mike Rex, top fan natin to. Good morning, Mike. Evita Monta says, hi, Ma'am Janet. Explained very well. I agree. Explained very clear. I agree. Mary Salazar is listening from Baguio. Hello. Maria Amparo is also listening. Greet Ma'am Janet. Sayang, hindi ko nabasa while Ma'am Janet was here, but that's okay. Magandang umaga from Jan Arian. And Mary Salazar says thank you to Ma'am Janet. Elenette Rillos Raza, Di Makulangan says good morning. Hello, good morning. And Kalindi
Ay,
Rilova says
shoutout
good
din
morning.
pala from mga kaibigan natin sa Cebu Friendship Village, Basaksan, Nicolas. Nako, nag-PM pa to sa akin, pa-shoutout daw sila sa walang sawa nilang panonood yan.
Yung
Thank
mga
you for
friends mo,
tuning in always.
talagang nagpa-private message kayo for shoutout.
Yes,
Dapat,
oo, syempre naman.
basta walang advertisement. Pag may advertisement, may bayad na yan. Sponsor na natin.
Oo naman, syempre.
Anyway, let's not waste any more time. Let's introduce
Yes.
our next segment, Living Wise, our friends from La Union. Gaur, go ahead.
Okay, so unang-una, wag natin kakalimutan mamaya meron tayong question and answer portion. And kung meron kayong mga tanong, i-comment nyo lang dyan sa baba. And if you want naman, pwede rin kayong mag-message sa ating Gopalakas hotline. Ayan, nandyan sa may baba, andyan yung Globe, 0977-681-7315. And sa Smart, 0961-557-1944. So, pwede na tayong mag-start sa ating Living Wise sapagkat meron pa tayong maririnig at matututunan mula kay Tita Socorro and kay Tita Marisa and as well kay Tito Toby. So let's start Living Wise.
Hello, good morning, and to everybody, a good day, and welcome to our segment. And may I welcome our co-hosts here.
Hello, everybody. Nice to see everybody again.
Ay, magandang umaga. Ito na naman ako. I already greeted you this morning, but again, there's nothing like greeting you
Stay with
again.
us.
Yes. Okay. So ang ano naman natin, mag-umpisa sa segment ng Wealth of Wisdom. Ang unang i-share natin po sa segment ay isang song na ang kakanta po ay kasama natin si Tito Toby. Yan ay title ng song, Fish Out of Water. So let's hear this song. Wala pa yata yung song.
Take
Baka
person,
gusto
please.
mo, ikaw na lang kumanta, Tito Toby, nung kanta.
No, we want to see the secret.
Yeah.
Yan na, yan na. I am Mr. Gasping Fish. I come from the deep blue sea, the home for aquatics just like me. But one day I decided I want to swim to shore and live on the land forevermore. I want to be master, I want to be Lord, I want to be number one, I want to control. And so I wore the outfits to look really cool, even sunbathed by the swimming pool. Oh my Lord, felt uncomfortable Gasping, gasping, I felt truly horrible. I was a fish out of water, far away from home, far away from home. Gasping, gasping, I smoked some dope, drank alcohol, and lost all hope. I watched a funny movie, but cried and cried, 'cause I wasn't happy deep inside, but never satisfied. I remembered my home in the deep blue sea, and realized it's there where I should be. I rushed to the shore, jumped into the water, oh my Lord. I felt so much better, feeling happy as I was meant to be. I don't want to be fish out of water, I don't want to be away from my home. Oh my Lord, I felt uncomfortable, gasping, gasping, I felt truly horrible. I was a fish out of water, far away from home, far away from home. Oh my Lord, I felt uncomfortable, gasping, gasping, felt truly horrible. We are all spirit souls, far away from home, far away from home, far away from home. We are all spirit souls, far away from home, far away from home, far away from home.
Okay. Yan po ang ating shinare ngayong umaga. Dahil po, that's our situation today. And we're spirit souls far away from home. And hindi lang tayo far away from home, but we're in this world, in the material world, which is so much full of suffering. We're away from home, suffering because of being out of our home and being in a very unnatural condition where we're trying to control things, and then lesson ng COVID, hindi natin para pwedeng i-control lahat ng bagay sa mundo. At there will always be something na magkakaroon ng suffering. Like disease will always be a part of our life, no? Old age, death, that will always be a part of our life. So here in the material world, so meron silang kasing sinasabi ngayon, pag nakahanap na ng vaccine sa COVID, okay na tayo, you know? As if the solution to our suffering is the vaccine, no? Parang lahat tayo umasa na lang, maghintay tayo for the vaccine. But there is a deeper problem that we have, you know, it's the fact that we are far away from home. Just like the fish try to build a home on land, we are here in this material world trying to build our home here. So if we want to be really happy, forward looking, let's go home to our real home. That's where we will be happy. Kumbaga, I was thinking kanina that yung fish actually para siyang prodigal son. So meron tayong prodigal fish na lumipat sa land, no, trying to be happy far away from the father, no, from the relatives in the ocean. So merong prodigal fish, tapos tayo parang yung prodigal fish actually, yung story rin ng prodigal son, he lived in a pigsty, hindi ba? Sa babuyan siya
Oh, that's where he ended up.
That's where he ended.
Oo.
Yung pig pen, kasama niya yung mga baboy at ang dumi-dumi, parang ganun yung COVID situation no? Sobrang contaminated ng ating situation, tapos so dirty, and then baka nagka-swine flu pa, hindi ba? Parang merong sakit, merong dirt, merong very unhealthy. So, ganun din po yung solution kailangan tanawin natin is to take a spiritual journey, find a spiritual solution, and find your real security in a spiritual dimension. So, just like the fish went back to the ocean, no? It's our hope that everyone, every spirit soul will try to go back to their real home, and that's where we will be secure and happy. And COVID, and there will be other diseases coming around in this material world, and we don't want to be, just building our home here where there will always be diseases. So, yun lang po ang i-share namin. The song na kinanta ni Tito Toby, and the message is for all of us to live beyond COVID. Okay? So, Tita Marisa.
Yeah, thank you. Minsan talaga kailangan umabot tayo sa grabing situation
yes.
to know what is correct. Yeah.
Eye-opener.
Yeah.
Wake-up call.
Kumbaga, they say you need to go through the darkness to see the light, to appreciate the light. Well, before I continue, I'd like to thank Janet for coming. No, it's very nice to hear what she had to share. Actually, she's my teacher in NADA. Yeah, it's really, really helpful. I hope you all try it. No, we really need to have simple solutions like that. Kasi nga, we're going through a time that is so uncertain, and like you said, Tita Socorro, we have no control. No, actually, we don't have any control. Like today, biglang ECQ, tapos later, it feels like, oh, it's going to be better. Nasa GCQ ka na, tapos baka babalik ng ECQ, di ba? So many things are happening. So, well, in connection to that, I want to share a poem that I learned when I was younger, and I thought that it's going to be very helpful for all of us. Kasi sometimes it's just also a change of attitude on our part, that can help us to survive this great challenge that we are undergoing right now. So can we show the slide, the poem? Okay, it's very short, yeah. I walked a mile with pleasure, and she chattered all the way, but left me none the wiser for all she had to say. Then I walked a mile with sorrow, and not a word said she, but oh, the things I learned from her when sorrow walked with me. So, today we are all walking miles and miles with sorrow. Ang dami nating hirap na dinadanas ngayon. And sa totoo lang, there's so much suffering we're going through, but there's also a lot to be learned. Yeah. Sometimes we're thinking, naku, paano yung mga bata, they can't even go to school, paano na yung pag-aaral nila? But, our children and all of us, we are learning very, very important lessons. No? Just like now, the children, they're learning about the realities of life and death, no? And they're learning how to practice certain techniques so that they don't get sick again. Because who knows, we might have even more sickness later on, no? And their eyes are being opened to see that when we fall, when we have a situation that's hard, we shouldn't just wallow in the mud and cry there. We have to really get up again and walk again, diba? So they're learning about being resilient, being determined, just hanging in there, no? So, we're realizing the value of hope and actually the necessity of hope so that we can cope, diba? To make a better future. Together, all of us really are discovering that what we're doing pala to the environment is really sooner or later is gonna impact our closest environment, di ba? Our bodies, our families, even our minds, no? And so we learned that very important lesson na hindi pala sustainable yung ginagawa natin dati.
The lifestyles that we were leading were causing damage
Yes.
to the environment and to our bodies.
Yes,
no?
it's so unfavorable, no, to our health. So, we were hearing all these warnings, di ba? Ang dami ng warning talaga eh. Pero we weren't really listening eh. It reached a point where Mother Nature is the one like screaming at us already na this is what you're gonna go through. It's gonna be so hard, no?
Diba si Greta Thunberg was trying to be a
Wake
voice,
us-
no?
Yes.
Pero even the president of, si Trump, parang binaliwala
Oh.
siya, di ba? Parang
Yeah,
binaliit siya ng husto.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the voice of the future, eh?
Yes,
Because
the
they're very
children.
concerned, the young people today especially. Diba, we want them to go to school, we want them to be prepared, but what are they preparing for?
Yeah,
This
they're
is actually
saying,
something that they are complaining about. What future do we have?
yes.
Faced with this scenario today, it's an example. This pandemic woke everybody up in the world on the excesses of our lives, the way we have been living in the last 50 years, or when the industrial way of life, industries, people moved to the urban centers, which are so being proven today is not sustainable at all.
Yes.
Because the support systems that is required to support a family or an individual in the city, the cost is so high. There's so much energy being consumed, and the natural resources are being exploited to the extremes.
Yeah, and the cost is not just in terms of money, yeah.
Right.
It's destroying the environment.
The quality of life,
Yes.
the conduciveness to live, in the setting where we are all faced. Kasi even the richest countries in the world,
Sila nga yung hirap.
na pandemic sila.
Yeah.
Yung parang kumbaga yung health system nila or yung kanilang environment, akala nila, mas malinis yung mga neighborhoods namin. Ngunit, the difficulty that they're faced with or is being proven, it doesn't have anything to do with even the standards of how you live. But if you're still exploitative of the natural resource and you are not, kumbaga stopping on any ends just to get what you want, So ngayon, itong pandemic natin, parang magigising talaga tayo dyan eh.
Yeah, we're forced to face the facts right now.
The
Yeah.
thing is, we have to learn the
Yes,
lesson
we have
and
to
change.
We have to
Learn
change.
the hard way.
Yes, we have to change our attitudes, our priorities, our habits, that have led us to this really painful chapter in our lives. Ang haba ng chapter, we don't know when it's going to end.
And how it's going to end.
Yes, and we know that,
Or
okay,
whether
we have
there's
to
an
change.
end on it.
Yes,
That's actually something
Yes.
like people are saying, okay, we hope we have a vaccine in such and such time. But now they're beginning to see that it's just it's kasi COVID, it's a flu. It's a type of flu. That
Yes.
means it may be
Pero-
lingering around for a
pero
long
more
time.
than that, grabe
May
siya.
mutations pa.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So, we really have to change. But of course, change is not that easy. No, we can't ever say that it's going to be easy. Pero it's really necessary. No, let's take care now of our world. Let's make it better. No, para naman we can thrive because we need the environment in order to thrive. Yeah. Pero some of us nga, we get to a point na talagang we are already depressed and we think, it's like I'm stuck in the mud. When you're in the mud, ang hirap gumalaw, di ba? Pero we just have to, let's look at it in a different way, yeah? Like, okay, let's take mud, literally speaking. Mud,
putik.
things can come out of it naman, that's okay, di ba? Yung halimbawa, you use mud, clay, you can make clay pots, you can make bricks, you can even make houses, no? Let's look on the brighter side, like for example the lotus flower. It lives in the mud, yeah, and yet from that muddy life, it
Environment,
still pushes upward. It rises above the mud and blooms and opens itself to the sunshine.
It's so
Yeah,
beautiful.
so beautiful.
Ang
It's-
ganda-ganda.
When you see it, talagang mapapawaw ka.
Mhm.
And the bees go crazy and everything, and it sends out a beautiful scent. We can be just like the lotus flower. Right now we're in the putik. Hirap lahat. Pero we can overcome
We can
this.
rise.
Yes, we have to get up from the depths of despair. Yeah. So
Growing in
let's not wallow in the mud like the pigs.
growing in
let's
your
rise
faith is
up.
from within yan eh. This
Yes.
time, this is an opportunity for us to actually being with family, being, kumbaga, may seclusion tayo ng konti, na kailangan reclusive yung buhay natin dahil lockdown eh.
Oo.
And you don't know. Di ba, initially, the initial shock of having a lockdown was experienced by people the first 2 months. Then nakita natin yung eagerness nila makakawala. But akala nila pwede na. But yung pala, what it did was to spike the whole number.
Oo, yung nakakawala.
Kasi
Nakakawala
pakawalan
talaga
tayo eh. Imbis na tayo mag-alaga din ng sarili natin, na intindihan natin yung given situation, at saka yung pag-aaral o experience natin nung umpisa, ganito pala yung lockdown. So next lockdown should be a lot more easier for people.
Hindi kasi ang nangyari una, 2 weeks lang. 2 weeks lang, kaya ko yan. Tapos mamaya, 2 more weeks, hanggang ngayon, ang tagal na, di ba?
Buwan,
4
tapos
months
mamaya,
already.
taon na. Di ba?
Yeah, so
Or-
parang naano na
knows?
yung iba, nag-give up na.
So it's
Bumigay.
a matter of, having the right attitude.
Exactly.
And actually, dapat may hope. There was a
Yes.
statement before ni Srila Rupa Goswami said, one thing you should never lose in life, that is hope.
Yes.
Because this hope will also give you the positive to look forward. And not to just look here because I'm stuck here, I'm just looking here, but no, to look forward that there is a solution.
Wallow in your,
Yeah.
the issue sometimes, you wallow in your difficulty so it
Yes.
magnifies things.
Exactly.
But actually we are,
May paraan. There's a
we
way
as
out.
human beings have been gifted
Mm-mm.
with our intelligence has a capacity to determine and to make adaptation in given settings. May ganun tayong kalidad
Yes.
Kaya nga yung resiliency ng isang tao, dito mo ngayon nakikita
Yeah.
Tapos, siyempre, as a society, we have to also learn from this. Ano ang naging ating pagkukulang sa edukasyon, sa sarili natin, sa ating mga kabataan, sa ating tayo ng who are adults and who's supposed to be responsible to what we have. Kasi may in-embrace tayo isang lifestyle na hindi natin tinugon na, akala natin we're going to be partying all the way, and people are just having their way, making their own choices. But in reality, we have to also temper this sort of, I just want what I want
Yeah.
attitude,
Yes.
Pero one thing rin that's important, na-realize ko na, teka, parang bago sa atin lahat itong wearing mask and washing hands. Hindi ba this is something we should have learned long ago? Mas parang hindi tayo magkakasakit. Maski anong sakit, di ba?
Kasi nga kahit daw may flu noon, may sipon, may ubo, okay lang, maghawa-hawa na lang sa opisina, ganun. Pero
Oo.
meron din nahihirapan. Pag tinamaan yung talaga mas mahina yung immune system, they will suffer more. And it's not good to get sick even yung mga regular flu rin. It's not
Yes, it takes its toll.
Any disease is not good. So,
And there's
buti na lang
always,
now we've learned all of this, no?
yung kaalaman, hindi naman nagkukulang. Hindi ba?
Sometimes it just doesn't get
True
Across,
people.
yeah.
Or sometimes we embrace a certain lifestyle or a way of life that drives us to think that, this is sufficient for us to get by already. Then makita natin na kunyari tayo, we become neglectful of our healthy well-being. Diba? We don't exercise. Right? Sometimes because of the way of life that we have embraced where we have become detached from nature. We have no real appreciation of the more important things in life.
So, kailangan magbago na po, no? Tayong lahat. And to be able to look forward to a better quality of life in future. So, thank you very much, Tito Toby, Tito Marisa, and for sharing all of these things. Okay? So, we want to turn back to our segment host in Manila. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Atty. Jai, you guys take it away now. Gaur.
Thank you, Tito Toby, Tita Marisa, and Tito Socorro. Actually, we would just like to prompt our listeners and viewers that we're opening a Q&A segment with you three while we have you. No, again, they can.
Magandang araw po, Tito Toby, Tita Socorro, and
Hello,
Tita Marisa. Meron po ba tayong mga question and answer dyan? Ikaw, Atty. Jai, nakita ba tayo? And
Mas
thank you
mas
po,
okay
Tito-
yata. mas okay yata manggaling sa viewers natin yung
Yeah.
question.
Hindi,
I do
mean,
have a
kung
lot
meron
of
ka ba
questions,
nakita.
but to maximize, to maximize the presence of our three experts from La Union,
Yeah.
I'd like to encourage our viewers to ask them questions now. In the meantime, while waiting for questions, maybe you can just continue your points earlier. Tito Toby, maybe you were cut off a little short.
Yeah.
Yeah, the human brain, yeah, ang dami natin. We can share the intelligence and the capacity for us to think logically in given situations like this. What is very important right now is that we cooperate with one another. See, the more we cooperate with one another, siyempre, maipsan natin yung problema na ating hinaharap.
Right.
Hindi yung minsan kasi ang dami minsan nagiging self-interest o yung interest
ayaw
lang ng isang
mag-mask.
tao.
Oo.
Ako,
we
lalo na sa
need-
political arena,
Yeah.
parang nakakadismaya yung mga away-awayan, no? Parang,
There has to be
Let's
cooperation.
focus.
And
Let's work together.
alam nyo kasi pagdating sa larangan na ganyan, nagkakaroon ng competition Sino yung pumapapel Sino yung gustong yan, kailangan ko pumapil sa ganito. Yung interest ng sarili ang nagiging, kumbaga yun ang lumalabas. Imbis na tinitingnan ng husto, yung kapakanan ng lahat. And each person, do your part. Yeah, it's an attitude change. That
Yeah.
we
To
should
get
not
beyond
only
COVID, we have
Yes.
to go beyond ourselves.
Yes.
Oo.
We should, alam nyo, not just care, not self-care lang sarili. Kasi you will feel much better if you start to share this caring nature that we have been gifted to others.
Yeah. I think next week we're going to discuss this.
Diba?
Yeah?
yung theme
And-
natin next
Yeah,
week is
And you know,
Compassion.
it's all about also, back to basic tayo.
Oo.
And us
To essentials.
yes,
No? Back
as
to
parents
essentials.
or even leaders of our society. This is a pamilya, ang magulang ang liderato We have to educate our children and take the time to explain to them what is happening. And not not hear them out. And the more you reason and help them out, it is helping them be prepared for all what is being faced.
That's a good point kasi right now may mga news na nagkakaroon ng violence in the home. The parents say they're stuck now with their kids and then they can't stand it anymore. But no, dear parents, I know mahirap ang dinadanas natin but kailangan mahaba ang pasensya natin because our children are also going through an anxious time. So we need to have extra caring for them and understanding that sila rin meron silang mga anxieties and fears.
And also looking towards the future, what do we need to do? Again, back to basic. Ano bang importante? In our country, for example, there's 100 million of us.
Dami.
Kaya nakikita nyo the avenues of being able to manage this COVID, this pandemic. Everybody is having a difficult time. The government is having a difficult time. They have very limited resources pagdating sa ating economy. Kasi hindi naman tayo maraming reserba But it was also an issue that we never looked at 50 years ago. We have so much resources in our country. We're surrounded by a huge body of water which is full of natural resources. But yet instead of looking into making sure that wag natin exploitin masyado. Pangalagaan natin ng husto. Because on the end of the day, if you want to stay healthy, you have to have good nutrition. You have to have good water. You have to have clean air. These are all back to basics. Itong pandemya, nung nabawasan yung pollution sa hangin,
Ay, sarap.
nagkaroon tayo ng malinis na hangin. Tapos, nabasa ko nga nung isang araw doon sa isang news clip na puro gulay na lang daw ang kinakain nila.
very good. Very nice.
Parang kawawa.
Parang
Yun na
naawa
nga.
sila sa
That's
sarili.
gonna help them stay well.
But they don't realize.
Ang daming nagtatanim.
Right.
Diba?
Yes.
A lot of
Nauso
people
na
are
pagtatanim
planting.
ngayon. Everybody wants a dami
They
webinars
discovered
ngayon
meron
tungkol
silang
dyan.
green thumb.
Meron nga gustong magtanim ng alugbati, meron
Saluyot.
saluyot,
Oo.
mga talbos ng
And then,
kamote.
and then suddenly, you'll see a community, you'll see a story of a community na meron isang lupa sa isang lugar na dating basurahan lang in the middle of Metro Manila. Sila. Nagsama-sama sila, nilinis nila yung kanilang lugar,
Galing,
nagtanim
galing.
ng gulay, and then, you know, you see what? There's things
O,
that
di
we
na
can be
sila
doing.
magugutom.
Talagang meron tayong
Paraan. May paraan
paraan
yan.
para
May
tayo
paraan.
makakain. Hindi kasi ganun din naman noon eh. Di ba that people during the war, di ba?
Yes, they had to plant.
They had to plant, they had to
Yes.
access yung mga buko, mga ano
Oh,
from...
kasi Manila was closed that time eh.
And di ba may weeds pang ang kinakain? Yung,
Ay, madaming weeds na pwedeng kainin. Next time, we should teach
Alam mo,
them
minsan
this.
hindi,
pansit-pansitan.
alam niyo, itong
Yes.
ating bansa, sa totoo lang, we have been gifted with a weather or a climate that you can grow food all year round. And that food, alam niyo, katulad ngayon sa mga bukirin natin, if you leave your farms or, like kami, we live in a farm, so halos hindi kami nagtatanim ngayon. Yung tinanim lang namin palay. Pero pagdating sa aming gulayan, hindi na kami nagtanim. Kasi
Nag-wild na sila.
saluyot,
Everybody sprouted.
amaranthus, kangkong, kamote,
Tapos may-
alokbati, lahat yan mabubuhay.
May native pechay na
Talino.
tumutubo on its
All
own.
wild.
There are a lot of edible
Parang
leaves
alam
kasi
nyo, sa
kilalanin
totoo lang, it's like, wow, meron talaga tayong, ito yung
Yaman.
yaman
Oo.
ng ating bansa. Kaya nga minsan, nakala natin yung pagkain kailangan natin really tugunan at bigyan ng pansin na mahirap magawa yan. No, it's so easy to grow. And you know what? If you want to find your peace and solitude, you go to your garden. Because it's
very
connecting
relaxing.
it's connecting to to nature Kahit na maliit lang yung plot mo. Tingnan niyo yan. It becomes very meditative and pretty soon you start to recognize all the other living entities thriving in your garden, you know?
Even the children have fun, growing things.
Yeah.
They like it, and then you tell them you can harvest, maganon. Tuwang-tuwa po yung mga bata.
It can also be a center where family can come and join together. Alam nyo, pag ganito mga instances kasi, these are opportunities for parents to connect to their children. Introduce them to this and let them look. Sometimes you visit your garden at night, pag may buwan mas lalo, or kahit na walang buwan. Alam nyo, basta, tingnan natin yung garden natin, tingnan natin kung ano nangyayari sa ating gulayan. Tapos, tumingin kayo sa langit. Tingnan nyo yung mga bituin. Tingnan nyo lahat yan. At, ngayon ang panahon
Get
na...
reconnected.
And then, thank the Lord and offer whatever we harvest to the Lord. Parang ang saya-saya dahil, nagpapasalamat tayo sa
Because
pinagalingan.
these are the natural creation.
Mhm.
Anything that is natural, we have
Beautiful.
a type of we have a connectivity to it. The closest environment that we have is our body. And this body is connected to a bigger environment. The earth, then you have the earth component, there's water. Alam niyo ang Pilipinas, sa dami ng dagat sa palibot natin, actually dyan may linis ng hangin yan kasi yun ang ginagawa ng nature. Ang nature, katulad ng katawan natin yan, naghahanap ng paraan para mabalance niya yung mga bagay-bagay na nangyayari sa kanyang sitwasyon. Kunyari, mainit masyado yung panahon. Di ba? May ganun
Nagkakahangin.
Nagkakahangin. Maraming yan And then, pag kayo magtatanim ng pagkain, o at least yung lupa, by now, siguro naiintindihan na ng tao, may lupa pala sa ilalim ng semento.
Okay pala yung bulate. Friend pala yung bulate dahil may vermicast na
Oo,
napoproduce. no?
best yan.
So may question. Ayun.
Okay. How true is it that according to some scientists now that COVID-19 pandemic is related to environmental destruction?
Yes,
Thanks po.
this is so true. Kasi ganito yan ang mga virus, nandiyan naman yan sa ating environment. Ang host nila, iba-iba yung uring mga hayop. Ngayon, pag sinira natin yung habitat, kunyari, there's so many tropical forests that are nasisira ngayon. So, saan pupunta yung mga virus? Maghahanap ng host yan.
Kakalat na.
Kakalat ngayon yan. Imbis na nakakontain sila sa isang kagubatan kung saan sila magta-thrive at may nagko-control sa kanila. Kasi may controlling system ang nature
Dapat napunta kay civet, dapat napunta doon sa
Oo.
ibang animals. Dinala rin sa palengke.
Ayun.
Kasi they take the animals
they-
out also
out and brought it to the market.
Oo.
So ayun,
Bring it-
tumalon
Oo,
na yun.
kasi ganang mga uring hayop, matotolerate nila eh. May kakayahan sila.
Yeah, but then the animals, a lot of people now live with animals, di ba? So yung mga sakit ng animals na dapat wala tayo, we get it na rin.
So it will jump. Hahanap ng host yan. Natural. Hahanap
That's how
at
these
hahanap ng host.
diseases get to
Konektado.
people.
Mm.
Oo.
So kaya ibalik natin, we rehabilitate our natural systems. Put it back in place. Nature will contain it.
Yes.
Nature will control. The solution is always so close.
Balance.
Yeah, balance of nature. Katulad yan, pati ang ating buhay, bigyan natin ng balanse yung ating buhay. Salamat sa tanong.
May tanong
Meron
for
din.
Ate
Ang
Socorro.
dami
tita.
nating problema, parang walang katapusan. Bakit po ba tayo suffering? What can we do to mitigate the problem? Lalo na po ngayon, mas damang-dama natin. Okay?
Maybe
So-
from Taytay Rizal yan.
Okay. So, alam mo, we have already presented the suffering, but there is, as we said, a solution. Now, ang practice po ng meditation, which is very timely after this segment, meron tayong healing sound meditation. Simply practicing this will help us actually go home. And we will purify our hearts, our minds, yung meditation, and bring us home where we really need to be living. No? Bring us closer to God, bring us closer to our true friend and true protector in life. Okay, so thank you very much for your questions, and I hope natulungan namin kayong lahat. And so we want to turn over again
Again, looking forward. Maraming salamat po sa
mga
inyong lahat.
segment host sa anchor host natin.
Po. Maraming salamat po, Tita Socorro, Tita Marisa, and Tito Toby for that very wonderful and wealthy, tama ba yan, Attorney Jai? Wealthy information. Ano bang tamang term dyan?
Wealth of information.
Ayun.
Wealth of information. Close
Ayan,
enough.
another
Close enough.
information. Ayan. So, thank you po. Thank you po sa inyong time.
You're welcome.
Paalam po. So, Attorney
you.
Jai.
Mhm.
All right.
I'd like to remind our viewers, if you have any more
Yeah.
questions for any of our friends from our Living Wise segment, you can message us on any of the platforms. Facebook, meron na ba tayong Instagram? Wala pa ata eh.
Meron na tayong
Face-
Instagram.
meron na. Facebook,
Yes.
Instagram. Halata,
We're growing
hindi
it by,
Hindi na gano'n, no?
Oo.
Anyway, at this
Hindi,
point, I'd like
kailangan
to...
nilang i-follow yon. So mga ating listeners, please follow our Instagram account kasi
Yes.
bago pa lang yan and we want to
Oo.
grow it, di ba?
Okay,
We want
okay.
that to grow. So yan.
Speaking
So,
of our
shoutout
listeners,
muna. Yeah.
Speaking of our listeners, I'd like to greet our listeners from Taiwan, Mr. Benson Lin, Mr. Kalki Chen, Mr. George Chen, and Miss Jiang Wen Wang. Hello, thank you for listening from Taiwan. Dapat meron na tayong Chinese version ng show natin soon.
Lalagyan natin yan. Lalagyan natin yan.
Also like to say happy birthday to my friend Vicente Casillo, who's listening now. And hello, shout out to my friends Dog Adeser, Basti Oichiko, and everyone from the Binging Bibliophile group. To Miss Erica Roman, thank you for listening and tuning in. I think right
Alright.
now, Gaur, we'll take a short break before proceeding
Yes,
to our
we'll
last
take a short break.
two
Ah,
segments, no?
Yes. Kasi meron pa tayong good food. So last time,
Yeah.
di ba, present nila yung sa Malunggay. Wala ka pala.
Napanood ko yun, pero wala ako
napanood
doon.
mo yun. Oo, pero so now, may ipipresent sila na mas malupit dyan. So mamaya abangan natin na magkaroon muna tayo ng short break. So thank you
Sure.
very much. Please stay tuned in. See you later.
Pangkalusugan, pangkalikasan, Gopalakas.
Magbabalik ang Gopalakas! Gopalakas! Dito lang yan sa V81 Radio Worldwide. Tunog Pinoy, Tatak Pinoy, the future of radio. This is your all hits, all Pinoy internet radio station. This is V81 Radio Worldwide.
Ito ang paborito ng bawat Pilipino. Basta all hits, all Pinoy, panalo. Merong kwentong iyakan at tawanan. Kahit nasaan ka man, ito'y mapapakinggan.
balikan na natin ang Gopalakas. Gopalakas. Dito lang yan sa V81 Radio Worldwide.
So magandang araw ulit and welcome back to our show. So nandito naman po tayo at magkakaroon tayo ng segment mula sa ating mga kaibigan din mula sa La Union at meron silang inihanda. Ayan, so unang-una, thank you muna sa mga ating listeners at mga viewers na hanggang ngayon ay nanonood pa. Time check po at 11:40 na yan. Sapagkat wag na po natin patagalin, hayaan na po natin sila magbahagi ng kanilang another masarap na recipe. So, ating panoorin ang ating mga kaibigan sa kanilang segment na Good Food.
A healthy community starts at home. As mothers ourselves, we know that food nurtures and heals the body. Here on The Good Food, our focus is simple: to inspire you to eat and live healthier.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of The Good Food. I'm Chris.
And I'm Nimai. Today's featured ingredient is quite common but we don't pay much attention to it. Madalas natin makita ito sa tabi ng kalsada or sa mga bakuran.
Lemongrass is an herb that looks like any other long field grass. Its long, slender leaves grows to about 3 to 4 feet tall. Known for its distinct lemony smell and taste, it is often used in Asian cooking. Lemongrass or tanglad is a great remedy for colds and congestion, nausea, and stomach pain. Lemongrass tea is excellent for women's health as it relieves hot flashes and reduces menstrual cramps. It also has a calming effect, making it a natural remedy for sleep. Lemongrass makes a delicious cup of herbal tea. To make this, here's what you need. Pour the water in a pot and bring it to a boil. Bruise the lemongrass to release its flavor. Cut it up using a pair of scissors, then add it into your pot. Let it boil rapidly for 5 minutes. Reduce the heat to low. Allow it to simmer for another 5 minutes. Turn it off. For added flavor, you can add ginger or fresh turmeric root slices at this point. Pour through a strainer and add your choice of sweetener. Squeeze in some lemon juice and give it a quick stir. Serve warm on rainy days for a little pick-me-up or after meals to help with digestion. You can chill this in the refrigerator and pour over ice to keep you cool on hot summer days. Its stalks makes an eco-friendly straw too. Make meals more special by turning your plain white rice into lemongrass coconut rice.
In this recipe, I will be using wash and drain rice. Add your coconut milk and water. Add your turmeric, salt, and pepper. Give it a quick stir. Try to place the lemongrass stalks at the bottom of the pot. Cook as usual. Serve with your plant-based ulam for the day. Some notes on lemongrass. Lemongrass is from the grass family, hence it is easy to grow. If you have been wanting to plant this in your garden, it is a good time to propagate during the rainy season. Lemongrass is often confused with citronella. To differentiate the two, check the stem. Lemongrass has a light green stem, while citronella has a purplish stem. It is important to know that while lemongrass is commonly used to flavor dishes, citronella is not edible. Tanglad is a natural repellent. Plant this around your garden to repel mosquitoes and unwanted bugs.
Once again, I'm Chris.
This is Nimai, bringing you healthy ideas to your kitchen.
Thank you for watching and see you next week.
Bye!
So thank you so much mula kila Ate Chris and kay Ate Nimay sa kanilang pag-share sa atin ng kanilang ingredients and paano lutuin ng mas madali ang ating lemongrass. Actually, very common yan sa mga Pinoy, no? Pero minsan, dahil disoriented, hindi naman disoriented, parang detached na tayo sa mga bagay sa ating kapaligiran, nakakalimutan natin. So for this, kung napapansin nyo, no, parang yung mga segment host natin, especially syempre sa good food, sa pag-share nila ng good food, mapapansin natin yung mga recipes nila na sinishare, very practical, no, na i-remind nila tayo para sa ating health, sa ating health and wealth. Syempre, healthy na yan sa ating katawan, healthy pa sa ating budget, di ba? Kumbaga parang, di ba, tinuturuan nila tayo kung paano maging resourceful. So anyway, thank you so much sa ating mga segment host sa kanilang pag-share ng ingredients sa lemongrass. Actually, paborito yan ng nanay ko, ginagawa niya yung tsaa every morning. Ayan, so sobrang yaman yan, masarap, healthy. And thank you so much again sa ating mga viewers and listeners. And wag na natin patagalin pa. Maya-maya po ay magkakaroon tayo ng music meditation sa sandaling ating break. So maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. And wag po tayong aalis. Magbabalik po ang Gopalakas.
Pangkalusugan, pangkalikasan, Gopalakas. Haribo ni Gaur, Haribo, Haribo ni Gaur, Haribo.
Para enjoy ang pakikinig sa V81 Radio kahit saan. We are now on your Amazon Echo devices. Just say, Alexa, play V81 Radio at i-enjoy ang inyong mga paboritong Pinoy music 24/7. Sabihin lang, Alexa, play V81 Radio. Balikan na natin ang Gopalakas. Gopalakas. Dito lang yan sa V81 Radio Worldwide.
Alright, nandito na naman po tayo. At nandito na po tayo sa ating ika-apat na segment, no, ang music meditation. Kung papansinin niyo mga viewers and listeners, we always put music meditation sa show natin. Kasi napakahalaga nito sa ating buhay. Like kanina, 'di ba, may nagtanong sa ating segment kay Ma'am Socorro kung ano ba yung solusyon sa ating hinaharap, kahit anong solusyon yan, kahit nasaan tayo. Ang pinakamadali at pinaka-practical na solusyon ang in-offer namin dito sa Gopalakas, which is the healing sound meditation. So, wag na nating patagalin pa sapagkat meron tayong mga bisita, I think, from Sir Manu. So, wag na natin patagalin pa. Manood po ulit tayo ng music meditation, makinig at mag-meditate. Take it away, Sir Manu.
Thank you very much, Gopalakas. Thank you very much, V81. At sa ating mga nanonood, kumusta po kayo? Sana okay lang kayo dyan. Welcome ulit to Music Meditation. Oras na naman para mag-relax and meditate sa mga healing sounds. Okay, so kagandahan sa music meditation, pwede i-practice to kahit saan, kahit kailan. Sa ngayon, samahan natin ang mga ating kaibigan sa Sif Care for Music Meditation. Okay, let's begin. Thank you very much, our friends from Sifcare, in doing music meditation with us. At sa mga ating nanonood, thank you for your participation. So, hanggang sa muli, magkita ulit tayo. Salamat! Back to the hosts.
Gaur, nakamute ka ata.
Kumakanta pa ako, kala ko di pa tapos eh. Tapos na pala. So anyways, napakaganda ng music meditation. So nakita niyo sa dulo, di ba? So add music meditation to your life. So ano masasabi mo doon, Atty. Jai?
I actually got a message from our friends from Sifcare. They forgot to include a disclaimer in the video and that they were observing all social distancing protocol prior to the recording of the video naman, and all of these all of the people featured in the video have undergone a quarantine period and testing. So kung mapapansin ng viewers natin, hindi ganun kalayo ang distance nila, but rest assured they are compliant with all the local and national government issuances on our social distancing protocols. So, yun na lang po ang idadagdag ko sa video na yan. Aside from that, music meditation always hits the spot for me, no? Kahit in any hardship in my life, kahit during the bar exam, music meditation pa rin ang go-to ko. Kaya, it's still the best. Ikaw, Gaur?
Alright. Sobra. Siyempre, sa kahit anong aspeto ng buhay mo, kahit anong, sabi nga ni Sir Mano kanina, ang kagandahan sa music meditation, pwede mo siyang gawin kahit saan, kahit anong sitwasyon, you know, especially, anyway, like, we're in a lockdown situation, no? And sometimes we're depressed or stressed, gaya nga ng sinasabi kanina nila Ma'am Janet and nila Ma'am Socorro, no? We can take shelter sa music meditation. So, anyways,
tama.
That's the calming point eh. So pag nag-music meditation ka, you can easily calm your mind, your heart, your entire being actually. So that's it.
On that note,
ng episode na to actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pero on that note,
so, I think
sa dami ng
we're on the last segment na. So any shout-outs? Yeah?
No more shout-outs, pero just for our viewers, we have a wealth of information that we share in our show every weekend. I'd like to remind everyone, if anyone's feeling a little bit overwhelmed na sobrang daming information, which one do I do first? Pick one, do that first, and then pag na-accomplish mo yun, pick another, apply that. Again, wellness is a holistic concept. It has to be done in a holistic manner. So kabuuhan yan, physical, mental, psychological, emotional, spiritual. So you pick one of our segments, apply it in your life. You'll definitely feel the change, and then slowly increase the number of lessons that you apply in your life. Aside from that, thank you for tuning in. Gaur, last comments. Na-delay ka ata, Gaur.
Yes. So thank you very much to all the viewers and listeners. And so wala naman tayong last comments na. Yes, we're on a delay. Yeah. So thank you sa lahat ng mga nanonood at nakikinig, at hanggang dito na lang muna tayo at magkita sa ating show every Saturday 10 a.m. yan dito sa V81 Radio at sa ating page sa Gopalakas. So syempre, huwag niyong kalilimutan na mag-follow and mag-subscribe. Meron na rin tayong YouTube channel, and ini-invite namin kayo na mag-subscribe syempre, di ba? So maraming salamat sa inyong lahat. Atty. Jai, thank you din sa pagsama sa ating show ngayong araw.
Thank you,
Hope to
Gaur.
see you next week, everyone.
I will
Thank
be
you
here.
very much.
Kalusugan, pangkalikasan, Gopalakas.
Pangkalusugan at pangkalikasan, samahan si Atty. Jai at DJ Gaur sa pagpapaunlad ng kalusugan sa katawan, isipan at espiritual. Go Palakas! Go Palakas! Pangkalusugan at pangkalikasan tuwing Sabado, 10 a.m. Philippine Time. Dito lang yan sa V81 Radio Worldwide. Tunog Pinoy, Tatak Pinoy, the future of radio. This is your all hits, all Pinoy internet radio station. This is V81 Radio Worldwide.
Ito ang paborito ng bawat Pilipino. Basta all hits, all Pinoy, panalo. Merong kwentong iyakan at tawanan. Kahit nasaan ka man, ito'y mapapakinggan.